All right. All right. Wow. So just out of curiosity, though, are you guys actually dressing him up as a lion?
For Halloween, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys already find it?
Yeah.
In how many business days did the costume ship?
You're getting terrible at this. 3 days.
3, 2, 1. It's the Shant and Ari podcast, you guys.
Jesus.
Oh, man. I'm just going to say episode 57.
Probably.
Shant, how you feeling tonight, big guy?
Good. I think I might need a new mic. I was listening to our last episode, and I think I need a new mic.
That's not good.
A random thought. I don't know. Just
Is yours? Did you listen to my audio? Did my audio sound good?
yeah. That's why I was like, I probably need a new mic.
I think no. Hold on. Wait a second. I recently switched where I am, so it could be that my audio sounds a little bit better now. Sorry if I got blurry all of a sudden. So it could be that my audio got blurry, or sorry, my audio got better, and yours just sounds the same.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll think about that. So, how's your week?
I started going to the gym on Monday, and
Did you use my workout stuff or no?
yes, yeah. And I downloaded this app called Gym Book, which also incorporates a log of like, okay, here are the exercises, here are the days, and now you can log the weight, and it's almost like I was able to just incorporate everything. Very, very nice of you.
Is that why your shirts are rolled up a little bit? You've been hitting the gym for a couple of days?
No, my shirts are rolled up as a sign that I need to hit the gym so I can get my arm up. I couldn't fill up a shirt if my life depended on it.
Yeah.
So I went to the gym, which is actually really cool because hear me out on this. I'm getting into a really, really good habit of waking up every morning now at 7 a.m.
Wow.
So what I did was, you'd be pretty proud of me. I got a alarm that has a vibration feature for your bed. So it has a fungus vibrator, right? You could use it as a feature so you can wake you up.
Wow.
Use it on your significant other if you really want to get them,
What a good trick, what people do is like put their alarm in the bathroom.
Yeah, no, I need the vibration feature. And like, put it this way, the alarm was so fucking loud that it made me want to get out of bed and to go. But me being me, it made me want to go out, get out of bed, do all that, turn it off, and get back into bed. So what I did was I did it so that I had one alarm go off at 7. And because I'm going to have to get up a second time, I set one up at 8 just in case. So I only had to use the whole second time 8 a.m. alarm this morning, because I couldn't actually go to the gym. My body's shattered.
Yeah. Wednesdays are the hardest days to wake up to go to the gym.
Why? Because you're already sore from Monday?
No, even if you've like been going for like months, right? This is like, it's a psychological thing. I know a lot of people, and it's like a kind of running joke with a lot of people who get up in the morning and go to the gym because like it's Monday, right? So you get up, you fucking do it. Tuesday, you still have the little adrenaline. Wednesday, it's the hardest day because now your body, especially if you're waking up early, it's kind of like, fuck, man, I want to sleep. I already worked out 2 days. I could take a rest. I got Thursday, Friday. I could still work out. So it's like that middle where it's like I could take a break, and it usually fucking wins, bro. Wednesdays are the hardest days. It's fucking crazy.
Is there a specific thing you're supposed to do on Wednesdays? Like you should save like one of your favorite workouts for Wednesdays? Like you should do chest on Wednesdays or something to like get your.
I used to play basketball on Wednesdays because like in the morning there was like runs. So like the one location would have basketball on Wednesday. So that's like, I'm going to go play basketball. So I get up. But yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Right now, I have a routine set up for 3 days a week. I may
That's fine. No, you got to ease into it. You can't go fucking, a lot of people like go, they want to, I'm going to do 6-7 days a week. Fucking, you just got to ease into it. It's not.
And the beauty of it is that I'm trying to now incorporate the gym in the mornings so that I don't add any unnecessary scheduling after.
Because you're never going to go. You're going to be, if something's going to come up.
Right. So before, I guess I wanted to touch up on a couple different things before we get into tonight's main subject. I really, really quickly just wanted to talk about what me and you have both been sort of up to this past week. Lots of protesting happening across the U.S. The past weeks. It seems like every major city.
Shout out to Phoenix, every Armenian in Phoenix.
I saw that. I saw the couple videos and stuff like that you guys posted, and like Leo was at the protest.
Yeah,
his crazy ass was protesting yesterday. Did he get arrested? Is that what happened?
No. There was cops there, but they were all trying to protect us, I think.
Where did you guys protest exactly?
Downtown Phoenix, right in front of the, I think ABC News or something.
Good. Yeah. Because we had a protest in Boston, a few thousand people in Boston. Really, really good.
Was it a few thousand? Was it good? Was it a good? That's what I was wondering. I wanted to ask you because I heard New York was like 1,200, which I think is weak.
And like New York, you know what the issue is with New York is like there's too big of a split in communities, like the Armenian from Armenia community and like the Armenian diaspora the Armenians from like Lebanon and stuff like that. There needs to be some sort of unity. That's happening more in Boston now. That's why we were able to get a few thousand because we worked together. We did like a whole.
That's smart. Like all the churches.
Yes. All the organizations sort of like group texted and like, guys, like let your people know, we'll let our people know, we'll all.
Smart. Not like one organization doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like.
But hold on for a second. New York had like an absurd news coverage. They shut down the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah. I mean, so Brian Kim, the cop, I think he was there. He's a cop. I think he was like, there to help out as far as being a police officer. And he said it was like 1,200 people. My brother was there. He said, yeah, it was like 1,000 or so. But I think they had their route that they were going. But after a night, they shut down the Brooklyn Bridge, which if anyone's from New York, man, like you fucking stop a bridge, dude. It's fucking bad news traffic wise. It's not a good look, man.
That's awesome. I fucking love that, man. So all over the United States,
the world,
all over the world. Yes. Sorry, I shouldn't have reduced that down. But all over the world, protests left and right. We had like a brief excitement that people, if they, they're not familiar with how it all works, they got excited and they sort of took their foot off the accelerator. We had a ceasefire take place that Azerbaijan, for the life of them, could not uphold.
Yeah, because they said it was till like noon, so they had time. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, no. Even then, they weren't going to honor that ceasefire because they got ISIS.
Yeah, keep talking about them.
Yeah. So the idea behind this whole ceasefire thing was like, okay, we're going to put this ceasefire in place to exchange bodies, but Azerbaijan didn't even want their bodies back. Like at this point, they're complaining that these guys are dying on the battlefield and their comrades aren't even going in to pick up their bodies. They're just leaving. Forget the fact that they're like letting ISIS just fucking rot. they're not even picking up their comrades. They're just letting them, just letting, no funerals, no burials, no nothing, dude. So Azerbaijanis escalated the war more after the ceasefire. So I think now Armenians, whatever we were doing before, it's almost like the ceasefire it brings us to a point where like, okay, now we can kind of back off.
Yeah, but it's
like, no, now we've got to keep that going. We've got to keep the pressure on. But there's something very, very serious that can be done. It's to really put pressure on Turkey, on your congressman, to put pressure on Turkey, put sanctions on Turkey. And next move is to recognize Artsak's independence and right to self-determination, self-governance. So that being said, I'm on a little bit of a campaign to keep going and have people contact their congressman to put sanctions on Turkey. Very, very important stuff here. Now, so you had texted me some really, really encouraging, some really, really motivating news in the space of wanting to work, wanting to set yourself up for a really, really good future.
Yeah.
Keeping that excitement going about what you're doing because you've got some things in mind. You had hit a benchmark savings amount. We won't discuss how much it is, but it got me really, really fired up. It got me slightly worried about what I have now. And it got me thinking as to what I could be doing, except for getting rid of the Porsche, what I could be doing.
Non-negotiable, yeah.
Yeah, those are life necessities here. What we could be cost cutting that will get me closer to that $1,000 that you got saved up. So what I guess I would
$1,000.
So I guess what I want to do is I want to sort of pick your brain as to how you should be doing it, what you should be doing to get to a really, really just comfortable savings account, bank account situation.
Well, I went higher than comfortable for the.
Let's set it as just it's more than $1,000. It's less than $10 million, just somewhere in between there. You already can sort of guess as to what it could possibly be. But
well, let's use a number. Let's just kind of like, so we could have something to talk about. Let's see, what number? Just throw a number out that we should use.
Call it $100K, just something that somebody could very.
Okay. So we'll use it in these terms. So let me try to do some math real quick to like where we were at. Kind of like got it. So yeah, so depending where you're at right now, right? Because everyone's different, right? For some people, we're talking about 100K. 100K may not be a lot in your savings. But for me at the time when I had the goal, so I set a goal to have this 100K in my savings account, right? I want to see like fucking the cash there, right? And at the time, it was probably like compared to like trying to do some math, we had like $5,000 and we thought that was a lot. Me and Betty thought it was a lot. Like we had no debt. We had $5,000 in our savings and we're like, it's not great, but it's like, it's a good start.
Is this comparable? Did you ever have a time before that where you had $500 and you thought, $10,000 would be great?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you don't just go through life and then, oh, hey, we have 5K, 100K would be great. No, you had like different times in your life where you thought this was a benchmark.
Mm-hmm. And we might have had like 5 or 10K at the time. Like it was something very, I'm not saying it's minimal,
figures here, but the idea behind your mental thought process,
Yeah.
we're already there beforehand at 500 or 1,000,
Yeah.
but now you're here again at 5,000. And you were saying, sorry.
Yeah. So I had this goal like that. I was just like, and I don't know why it was such a crazy number. I mean, not crazy, but compared to where we were, it is definitely is crazy. You would agree, right? Like it's, um, and I was just like, it just would be so fucking cool because I never like would imagine that kind of money, right? Where like you just have this amount of money. I just thought it's so like if you have that, you're good, like you're set, right? Like, so what I started January 1st, 2018. I started writing that every day. I have $100,000 in savings in the bank. Wrote that every day. Till recently, but not. I stopped doing it every day, probably like 6, 7, 8 months ago. But it was still always top of mind. It's all I thought about, and it was just something I was like, okay, I want this. I want it. I want it. Don't know why I wanted it. Just thought it was a crazy number, but I was like, I want it, and so I just started writing it every day, man. Fucking with other goals too, right? Like I make X amount a month. I have these many properties, like everything I would write down. And it was just something I just kept in the front of my mind, not in the back of my mind, the front of my mind.
So tell me some of the things besides writing down. So besides manifesting
Yeah, that's yeah.
what it is that you were trying to get to, what systems did you start to put into place that was bringing you closer to manifesting that quote unquote 100,000?
Well, one thing, me and Betty have always been good at is, especially Betty more than me, is budgeting, right? So like looking at our monthly expenses, how much we spend every month, what we need to survive, right? So that's kind of like painting the picture of like, okay, how much do we need to survive, right? And if we're basing it off the 100, we probably need 30, right? To be like, have enough emergency savings, be okay, right? So I like 3x'd it. So that was one, budgeting. Second is, I mean, you gotta make more money, right? Like there's only so much you could save and budget. You just have to make more income. But I think the manifesting part kind of drives you for that. But um, so budgeting, making more, manifesting, having no debt, carrying no debt, right? And like every month we would have like a couple grand here, grand there, and credit cards, but we tried to really minimize our monthly debt, which really kind of like keeps you more flexible to go after things. So like when there is an opportunity, you're a little bit more free. But if you have a lot of debt and you're fucking swimming in 20,000 in student loans and 15,000 in credit cards and 20,000 in your car payments. I mean, we do have car leases, but if all that debt and then you have an opportunity, you're not going to go after it because you have all this shit kind of on your plate. So getting rid of debt as much as you can is better because you'll be a little bit more free to like take chances.
So when you look at debt, was that constantly being subtracted from your what you have? Do you constantly keep a very, very clean balance sheet as to how much you're worth? Like you always have to keep it real with yourself. Do you subtract your debt from your assets?
So what I think you're asking, what are you asking? Give me a specific reason.
So would you subtract credit card debt from your, check account balance? And like,
yeah.
I'm only worth, like you have 20 grand in credit card debt, but you have 20 grand in the bank. You're worth shit.
You're zero. Yeah. So that's what I would do. Yeah. Credit card debt. But we always kept it very minimal, right? Like we tried to like, it'd be like 2-3 grand, pay it off, 2-3 grand, unless there's a major, which we've had some major stuff throughout along the way, right? Like we like had to do like, we were trying to get pregnant. We had to do IVF. It was like 20 something grand. Fucking, we don't want to carry that debt. So you just so there's been a lot of big chunks of fucking financial shit that's hit us. Not like we've had a good 2-year run of like easiness.
Huh?
Huh?
Leo was fucking expensive, man.
Yeah, the kid owes us a lot.
Fuck.
We bought a house in between then. So that took all of our money, down payment. We had like, I'm not counting retirement because we took all our retirement out already. We have nothing in retirement. We have nothing in investments besides real estate. So like, it's not like I'm counting all this other money here.
Okay. So few questions I got. Do you think that COVID helped you get to this goal quicker, or do you think it hurt you?
It hurt me.
So it wasn't an easy road to this.
No, because as you know, I transitioned to that corporate position. And for the past, since COVID started, that's when I started. I've made no money from there.
That sucks, man. So tell me a little bit about where your profit centers are.
It's been real estate sales. So like the side, like now Betty's selling real estate, so like did a flip, made some money there, monthly income from rental, just like, that's where it's all real estate.
Okay. So a few more questions here. Realistically speaking, like we talked about this a few months back where we were talking about the richest man in Babylon, and we were talking about 10%. He was saying that you should be taking 10% of your earnings and buying gold, and then taking the return on the gold and reinvesting all of the gold and the interest back into the gold, and then 10% of your income again into gold. So it was a constant 10% and reinvest of the earnings itself. How much of your saving do you think that 10% is very, very stingy to be using and saving, or do you think that it's a good amount? What would you say is like a good percentage of your income to be investing in saving?
That's a good question.
And do you think you're doing both? Do you think you should be investing and saving, or do you think you should be saving to invest? What is your take on?
A really good question, because I haven't been investing, like taking the money, investing into the stock market or gold. And in the book it says gold, but it means the stock market, because the stock market you'll get more return rather than gold.
This year it should definitely be gold.
Yeah. But I have not been taking the money and reinvesting it, right? I was in like, me and Betty were kind of like in a save, right, kind of thing. And now I am. So the percentage, it's all relative, right? Because first you have to look at, you make your money, right? 100%, right? How much of that 100% is in your living? Because this is where it matters, right? I can't just tell you 10% in savings, 10% in investments. You have to look at how much you have left after living expense, right? So let's say it's 40%. So now you have 60% left, okay? It should be 40 or under. It should be 30, but 40 or under, depending where you live, of your monthly income, 40% should be living, like your rent or your mortgage. Like that would be ideal, right? So you have 60 left. Then how much of that is for your car? We'll just use another example.
Normally.
Yeah, normally. So take another, let's say you make 10,000 a month, right? So it should be 5%, let's just say 5 to 6%.
Right.
So now you're at 55%. And then you got living expenses, food, this, that. That should be another 5 to 10%. So now you're left with 45%, right? 45% left.
Of your 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that you took home, not like, after taxes, everything. So then if you have credit card debts, some of it's going to go there, right? Probably 10, 20%. So now you have 25%. 15% should go into savings. 10% you should probably put in investments. So in this scenario, 10%. Now, if you're a business owner, you should probably be investing 10% into your business, 20% into your business every month.
Why do you think that?
So that's the only way you're going to grow it.
So you can look at that a few different ways. Are you a business owner that pays themselves a paycheck every week? Or are you a business owner that relies on whatever is left at the end of the month and just looks at that as your available balance for yourself?
Yeah.
You should take home a paycheck every week so that you can keep the two sort of separate. Right.
Is that what you do now?
Yeah. I actually have for my business checking account, I have two accounts. One of them is the main account, and then the other one is a payroll account that money gets transferred into, and I spend from personally.
Yeah, so that's how it should be. But
right.
Yeah, in theory, you want to save and you want to invest, right? If you have the means. Some people you're not making enough, and that's fine. I mean, you just have to weather the storm and get through it. But in the case if you have excess money, you should be investing it, and you should be saving and not just spending it on dumb shit. And
so, question for you. So, when you invest your money, does the profit that occurs from investment go back into saving, or does it get reinvested?
Good question. Very good question. I would say, and what me and Betty are planning on doing, and what I did with the flip, like we flipped it, made the profit. That profit is not being touched. That's being waited to buy the next one. And then those
investment.
Yeah, it's like it's the investment. Okay. And then when those profits hit, that's going to be used to buy the next investment, and so on. And people will be like, well, what's the point of doing it when you're never going to use the money, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to work till I'm fucking 70 years old.
Right. But no, hold on for a second. So there's a couple ways to look at this, right? So you got, let's call it a dual savings account. One of them is fixed, where the money is there, and the other one is in a rotation. Am I understanding that correctly? Like you're constantly building that saving, but that saving is strictly for the purpose of reinvestment. It's basically turning a wheel that constantly produces savings. However, once a cycle is done, you could pull it and use it for investment somewhere else. But the other savings account is purely a stash.
Yeah. And I won't take that investment money to buy a nice car or to go on a sick vacation.
I see. That is strictly for the purpose of side investments, side endeavors that produce more money that further down the line is basically your retirement.
But it's going to come to a point where I want to get to where I'll buy if I want to buy, and me and Betty are not like that. But if we want to buy a luxury item, it's going to come from our returns from an investment rather than our income money, right? Or our savings account. It's going to come from, like, let's just say, you want to buy like a Rolex, right? Like I rock an iWatch, right? All day. But if I want to buy a Rolex, it's going to come from that, not from, oh, I had a good month in business or at work, or I got a bonus at work. Let me go buy a Rolex.
Do you think that this rule, this 15 and 10 that you go by, do you think that it will ever change, or is it good enough to sustain that based off of ever increasing salary? Do you think that 10 and 15 or 15 and 10 rather is a good system to live by and manifesting certain ideals? You can figure out what your 15 and 10 should be for yourself. It should be 20 and 30 or 20 and 10, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't perfect science for us, right? It's just there to have like, to remind you to like, hey, you need to fucking save and invest, right? Like it wasn't always perfect some months, bro. You know how it is in business. Like some months you don't make anything, right? So I can't save 20%. I can't fucking invest 10%.
Right. So
I'd be negative 30, right? Like I sometimes some months you don't have anything. So it's like, so you kind of keep a rolling tab of like monthly. Some months you don't make nothing, but the next month you go crazy. You kind of double down a little more. Like you just kind of play by ear, but you have to have some sort of like just a baseline to, to make sure you're on track.
So tell me some of your thought processes whenever you're thinking about buying something expensive or you're thinking about rewarding yourself. What goes through your mind? Is it easier to do this when you're married? Or is it harder? Well, tell me what that's like. What is the whole fuck, I really want to buy this right now, like when you got savings in mind, when you got a goal savings in mind?
So this is like prior, not right now, right?
Well, I mean, whichever one is more intense. Like you already hit that benchmark, but is that, you tell me, like you were at 500 trying to get to, 5,000, and then you were at 5,000 trying to get to like 10K. What makes this particular benchmark any different than the previous benchmarks? Like I had a 3 Series coupe that was pretty hot back then, and I thought like this is all I need, and then no, I need the convertible, and then no, I need the M4.
Yeah.
And then no, I need the Porsche, and no, I need the Ferrari. So, like, when does this shit ever? You say something like that? How, you know what I mean? Like, did you jump a benchmark that you're thinking like, yeah, I can kind of take it easy right now?
I know what you're saying, and luckily for me, like you and people need to understand, you have loved cars since I could remember you as a baby. Like you have a passion for cars. It's not like you love cars to show off. You have unfortunately, you have an expensive fucking love for something. It's expensive, right?
I have good taste. I have.
Yeah. The beauty is with me and Betty, and we should probably do a podcast with Betty and me and like couples and like finances, right? I think it'd be really good because she's the financier of the couple. I just like never know what's going on. Like there was a month where it was like, I was like, babe, we're fucking broke. I don't know what we're going to do. She's like, did you look at the bank account? We're actually pretty good. And I'm like, no. You have no idea. We're broke. She showed me. She's like, no, we're fucking good. Like,
You haven't even made a phone call in 2 days.
So as far as items, right? So like treating yourself. So like so we hit this benchmark, right? And this has been like in my mind for 2.5 years or more, right? You know what I bought? Travel backpack. It was like $150.
I thought you were about to say a Peloton.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
This is the thing, man. I have this like thing where I still feel like it's not enough. So I feel scared, not scared to like go buy an expensive thing.
You feel like you're gonna go broke trying to pay for it, so you're like, no.
So in my mind, I feel like I have this number, right? Like the 100, what do we say, 100, right? If I buy something for 10,000, right? Like a watch, like a cool watch, like, because there's people who love watches. Now I have 90 left in my mind. And then it's like, if I buy something else, something happens, now I'm at 80, it's just going to go down to zero.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're
I
right.
have this thing where it's like anxiety of like, I thought we were in a better position when we had the 5,000 than I do right now, if that makes fucking any sense.
Yeah, because you feel like your liability, your ability to cover is it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot tougher. It's a lot harder when you're dealing with $4,000-5,000. That's like a few months worth of work. When you're dealing with, you know, $50,000, that's a year's. It's a year or two, and so on and so forth, man. So like, yeah, when you go from a 328 coupe to a 328 convertible, it's just $100 jump. But when you go from 328 coupe to M4, you're doing so it doesn't matter how much more money you're making per month. The dollar amount separating those two is like it's multiple brainwaves separate.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I can comfortably say that I've had to go through a very, very steady jump from car to car, but I'm noticing now that I kind of want to come back down because I'm getting more and more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I can't afford it, but what if I get put into a position to not be able to afford it, type of thing? Like, okay, like, all right, listen, COVID hit, and thank God,
Yeah.
but if we were like a sit-down restaurant, I would have been completely fucked. So, long story short, I always think to myself, don't worry too much. You'll figure out a way. Worst case, you just get out on the street and just figure
Hustle
out.
a little bit more.
Hustle. Yeah. Yes. But that's not what I want to do anymore. I don't want to think like that anymore. I want to have enough and constantly receive enough. But I also want to be put in a position where if you take that all away from me today, I won't need much to be able to cover myself. Like, I don't have a Porsche to pay for. I don't have, it sucks to say, but I don't have kids. I don't have a wife just yet. When I do, we'll think about that then later. And I guess the beauty of being married to somebody that works is that, listen, if shit really hit the fan and something happened with you, Shant, worst case, I mean, like, God forbid, man, but like Betty becomes
the sole earner, yeah.
Working parent,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, man. Leo expensive and to begin with. Like,
no, that kid's it's harder to stay at home with him than going to work. But no, it's funny because like, so the previous month we had our best month, like as far as like a couple, as far as earning, right? Like we had our best month, right? Ever. And Betty was like, "Yo, we need to go celebrate." But I was like, "No, I'm weird, man. I don't know if you're like, I feel like you are. I don't know if it's superstitious. I'm just like, no, but we got to worry about like next month and a month after. Like, but she's like, no, let's enjoy this for a minute, like a minute. I'm like, no, I can't. Like,
celebration for me is minimal. I'll still like find a moment to like kind of like, oh yeah, we did that. Nice. But like, don't make a thing out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On that, I like that. Maybe like a quick, like, let's go to my dad's house for a kebab and then
Like, let's come right back, like, just real quick.
Exactly. We're not going to Cheesecake Factory today.
But that's like, I don't know if that's weird. I don't know if anyone else is like that. I don't know if anyone else has this thing, or maybe we're too, like, we have a scarcity mindset where we think it's all going to go away. But I think that drives me more, right? Because I guess scarcity, like, I'm scared that it's going to just be gone, because like that 100 to 0 is a bigger fall than 5 to 0, 5,000 to 0.
Yeah. We've talked about this before in one of the first few episodes, that I used to make my BMW lease payment before the bill even came.
Yeah.
Like, I used to wait for it to post online before I even got it in the mail, and like immediately send the payment, thinking to myself, like, I may not have the money in 2 weeks. Like, how does that even make any sense? So
Parents fuck this up.
Scarcity mindset. And like, I'd have a few thousand sitting there at the time that like the payment was due. So I was fucking tapped. I don't know why I thought I wouldn't have the money. It was like $360 lease. I had like a few thousand just chilling there. Anyway, so yeah, I'm with you on that. The scarcity mindset should be there. A feeling like Turks are about to commit murder
at any time. Yeah, it never fails.
I keep all of my gold on me at all times, just in case I need to make like a emergency barter of some.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think it's a cool thing to have a number in mind and to just keep thinking about it. I think the manifesting part, not that manifesting brought it, but I think always thinking about it made me like go a little harder, and it made me like, I mean, there was points where I'd spend stupidly, right? Like, oh, we're good. We're at the 50% of the goal. It's like, oh, spend a little bit. Yeah, like, it's fucking good. But I really clamped down recently where I'm just like, I'm not buying anything. I don't do shit. We'll go to dinner. That's about it. Betty doesn't buy anything. Or if I bought a backpack and I was like, fuck, that's $150.
Whoa.
And I did a lot of you know how long it took me to buy this backpack?
Oh my God, man.
It's been 8 months I've been researching and like looking for like the right backpack.
Didn't the new one of that backpack come out like a couple days ago?
So it's just been, I feel like you said, the first 100 or whatever it is, right? That first goal is a lot harder than the next, I would think. I'll let you know.
Well, definitely do let me know. Definitely give yourself a little bit more credit. Take a couple shots on me. So yeah, I'm definitely motivated. You got me a little bit fired up. Start having some side investments going on. I want to get into flipping. I want to maybe talk about flipping in another episode, and why you think flipping would even work for the non-real estate savvy person, or if you should have some real estate background to flip. But that's a completely separate episode. However, I do want to discuss it because it's definitely on my definitely been.
We'll talk about it. One thing I want to discuss, I don't know if anyone's seen it. I don't know if you've seen it yet. The documentary The Social Dilemma on Netflix.
I gotta watch. So yes, I gotta watch this. This has been brought to my attention. Okay. It's gonna make me want to debate it all.
No, because I'm gonna throw my phone out. I'm gonna throw it out.
It's fucked up. Fucked up.
Betty's just like, just delete the apps, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just re-download. I'm gonna throw out my phone. That's it. I'm done.
What are you gonna get? You're gonna get one of those black and white Kindle phones that they sell. You know which one I'm talking about? Like the.
I might go back to BlackBerry, man.
I had one. It was my favorite. Like, I had one recently. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got it, and it was running off of Android. And they didn't update it, and they stopped selling it. They stopped carrying it at T-Mobile.
That was one of the good ones.
It was so good. I had a physical keyboard too, and it was just like, it was just amazing to use. But
What about, I think one of my all-time favorites, the Nextel Chirp.
Did you have the colored LCD one, the I-95?
Yeah, sick.
Did you have the I-90 as well right before that?
Probably. It was just, think about that. Like, first of all, we all thought we were so cool, like chirping. Like we thought we were like, but imagine now, like you're in a meeting. Yo, what are you doing? That's like, shit.
Is that a cop? Fuck is that? I had it in high school, man. There was a way to put like custom ringtones.
Mm-hmm.
Harnik Sarkishan as my ringtone.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I remember that.
Very strange. Very, very strange.
All right. Well, save your money, everyone. Save, especially nowadays with everything going on. Save your fucking money. Have some money. We should talk about this.
And don't put it in a savings account. Keep it in a shoebox under your bed.
Inflation is coming, and we'll talk about that. So save your money.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, I guess I'll talk to you on the third day of the week next week.
Yeah. Oh, we could.
That's the fourth day.
There you go. That's the next one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Good night, Shant.
Good night, everyone.